Okay, just have to document this. If you can watch it with me, I just wanted to put a cause or a reason why is the Philippine government is at war with itself, and it's from the world's most amazing stories, courtesy of that channel. Okay, here we go. We can watch it.
Political clashes between powerful factions are common worldwide. Few rivalries are as fierce or as personal as the one unfolding within the Philippine government. In a revelation that shocked the country, the Vice President of the Philippines admitted to instructing someone to target the President, his wife, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives if she
Yeah. So if she is eliminated, um, Sarah Duterte, the vice president, already talked to somebody who would eliminate these three characters: Bongbong Marcos, Lisa Araneta Marcos, and Martin Romualdez. So Bongbong Marcos and Martin Romualdez are first cousins from his uh, mom's side, right?
were to be eliminated. What makes this
So that's the key. If she were to be eliminated, Sara Duterte, and that guy will eliminate those three individuals or the current leader leaders of the Philippine country. Yeah.
rivalry even more intriguing is that these two leaders of 116 million people were actually once united as campaign allies, presenting unity as the foundation of their political platform. This begs the question, what caused such a dramatic fallout between these former allies? More intriguingly, could this feud be an extension of the broader US-China geopolitical struggle? It's well known that former President Rodrigo Duterte leaned heavily toward China, distancing the Philippines from its longtime ally, the United States. In contrast, the current administration has shifted the nation's foreign policy back toward Washington, even permitting the establishment of additional U.S. military bases in the country. We can't help but think that this strategic pivot could be fueling the animosity between the two camps. To fully grasp the unfolding political drama reshaping the Philippines, it's essential to first understand the key players, two of the country's most powerful families, Marcos and Duterte. First, let's talk about Marcos. When we hear their name, the image of Imelda Marcos's infamous collection of thousands of shoes often comes to mind.
20,000 pair of shoes or 25,000 pair of shoes altogether, all in one big room. Imagine how many Filipino poor family can be fed by those shoes, and they're all like luxury shoes or expensive shoes.
A symbol of excess that made international headlines. Then, of course, there's Ferdinand Marcos Sr., the dictator whose regime ended in 1986 through the peaceful People Power Revolution. Fast forward to today, and the Marcos family is back in power. Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., the current president of the Philippines, secured an astounding political comeback in 2022, marking a remarkable return for a family that had once seemed irreparably disgraced. His election was, in many ways, a form of vindication for the Marcos legacy, with the family asserting that the era of Marcos Sr. was, in fact, the Philippines' golden years. On the opposing side, we have Duterte. Former President Rodrigo Duterte is a figure beloved by many Filipinos, largely due to his controversial yet popular war on drugs and his staunch campaign against government corruption. Known for his fiery populist style, often compared to Donald Trump, Duterte spent decades as the mayor of Davao City before serving a single term as president from 2016 to 2022, as mandated by the Constitution. His daughter, Sara Duterte, now serves as vice president, having garnered over 32 million votes, the highest in Philippine history. Known for her strong character, much like her father, Sarah gained national attention in 2011 when she made headlines for punching a court sheriff. Yet, it is this same toughness that has endeared her to many of her.
So the story goes, there was a demolition that day, and Sara Duterte, the mayor at that time, were asking the police officers to delay it, and then I think the police officers didn't delay it, so she got mad and punched the sheriff on his face.
Her fellow Filipinos, who admire her no-nonsense approach. Before the 2022 elections, Sara Duterte was widely regarded as the heir apparent to her immensely popular father, with many expecting her to run for president. However, reports reveal that the Marcos camp approached the Dutertes, urging Sara to run as Bongbong Marcos's vice presidential candidate to strengthen his chances of winning. In a surprising twist, Sara decided to step back and run as Bongbong's vice presidential candidate, a choice she appears to regret, judging by her subsequent remarks. These two formidable families joined forces, presenting a united front against the so-called Yellow Camp, led by the influential Aquino family. Their alliance culminated in a decisive victory, with their partnership seemingly unshakable at the time. However, problems started to show, and their partnership fell apart in a dramatic way. Just 2 years into their 6-year terms, their disagreements became public, revealing a deep split between them. By June, the rift had deepened when Sara Duterte resigned from her position as Department of Education Secretary in Marcos's cabinet, signaling a complete collapse in their relationship. Her resignation gave her the freedom to oppose Marcos openly. The feud got more personal when the vice president declared that she wanted to exhume the body of the late President Marcos and cast it into the sea. On the other hand,
So at that time, the First Lady and the President Bongbong Marcos were having a rift with uh, VP Sara Duterte, and they're trying to destroy her reputation so they can get rid of her because they wanted to extend their power, right?
the House of Representatives, led by House Speaker Martin Romualdez, initiated an investigation into the alleged misuse of confidential funds by the Vice President's office and the extrajudicial killings that occurred during the brutal drug war of the previous administration. The investigation spiraled out of control when Sarah's chief of staff was charged with contempt, setting off a chain reaction that pushed the vice president to her breaking point. In a tense and explosive online press conference, she made a chilling admission. She had instructed someone to eliminate the president, the first lady, and his cousin Martin if she'll be neutralized. Meanwhile,
So at the beginning, they said if she will be eliminated, but at this time, they mentioned if she'll be neutralized. So there's a big difference, wrong? I think neutralized, eliminated. I think the right word is eliminated. If she'll be eliminated, those three characters, Bongbong Marcos, Lisa Araneta Marcos, and Martin Romualdez, will be destroyed if she will be eliminated. So it's a conditional threat, not a active threat, right?
certain members of the House of Representatives have moved to file articles of impeachment against the vice president, an effort that notably does not have the backing of the president. So, what could have contributed to this rift between the two high...
It's not even a threat. It's like a conditional statement, because a threat means somebody's. It's like a serious accusation. Okay.
highest leaders of the country? One major thing is the difference in their approach with regards to the West Philippine Sea issue. Former President Rodrigo Duterte adopted a more pragmatic stance in managing the Philippines' territorial disputes with China. Recognizing the futility of military confrontation with a global superpower, Duterte pursued a more conciliatory approach, fostering closer ties with China while distancing the Philippines from its long-standing ally, the United States. Notably, China has claimed the existence of a gentleman's agreement with the Philippines regarding the contested territories in the South China Sea. However, President Marcos Jr. has shifted the Philippines toward a more pro-U.S. stance, expanding American access to military bases and taking a firmer position on territorial disputes in the South China Sea. Some observers suggest
So this is what my take is with the U.S. bases going back in there. They're not gonna put their U.S. bases for the interest of the Filipino people. U.S. is always first their own terms first. They have to serve their own interest. So this is just making the uh, the environment more vulnerable for a war. And the China is basically they're just trying to um, expand their trade. So that's why they're trying to get resources. So we would have to sell them our sovereign the rights. We have they have to pay for it. They can't just take it over. That's what my view is. Because the Chinese they want just trade. They want to get resources. I don't think they want to convert Philippines as well, as their own, as like a communist state. They just want to trade, but with their own authoritarian leader, just one leader. Okay.
that the current political turmoil in the Philippines could be a proxy battle between global superpowers. Could it be that Washington is quietly funding the attacks against the vice president as retaliation against her father's pro-China stance? Perhaps this is part of a broader strategy to erode the Duterte's influence among the Filipino people and realign the nation more firmly with U.S. interests. Another major factor is the upcoming 2025 midterm and 2028 presidential elections. Many agree that Sara is a shoo-in as the next.
So yeah, the midterm 2025 elections is coming May, I believe. So Martin Romualdez and the Congress they wanted to impeach her, and she's giving away or not giving away ACAP by the Congress. They're giving ayuda money for the people that's they're buying votes for these coming elections as if it's their own money. It's the fund from the Philippine taxes, right? So it's not their money.
President of the country with no strong contender in sight. But Marcos and Romualdez wouldn't want this to go lightly. It's said that all the attacks are being maneuvered by the House Speaker since he's the one who will likely run to succeed his cousin. The only problem is that the odds of him winning is slim, considering his low ratings in recent surveys. However, undermining Sara Duterte's influence is no easy feat. With the formidable legacy of her father, and the unwavering loyalty of the so-called DDS, or Die-Hard Duterte supporters, shifting the allegiance of her fan base will be a daunting challenge for her detractors. With President Marcos.
So there's DDS, there's Maisog by Attorney Gutierrez, I think, Vic Gutierrez, and there's a lot of party list that's playing in these Philippine politics.
Marcos Jr. constitutionally barred from seeking a second term. Both the Marcos and Duterte families are strategically positioning themselves to consolidate power and set the stage for future political battles. Another key point of contention is the president's proposal to amend the Philippine Constitution, a move he suggested could coincide with the 2025 midterm elections. This initiative, often referred to as cha-cha or charter change, has rekindled a long-standing debate about the nation's political structure and future. Constitutional reform is a highly sensitive subject in the Philippines, haunted by the legacy of Marcos Sr.'s authoritarian rule. During his presidency, he amended the Constitution to abolish term limits, extending his power from the original two-term, four-year limit to a 20-year reign from 1965 to 1986. His regime became synonymous with human rights abuses, extrajudicial killings, and pervasive corruption. Former President Duterte has vehemently opposed this current administration's push for charter change, warning that it could echo the mistakes of the past. Duterte has cautioned that such a move risks alienating the public and could potentially lead to history repeating itself. Another Marcos would be ousted by people power. In the end, this political showdown could place the country in grave danger. If the highly popular vice president were to be removed from office, it could trigger widespread civil unrest. In fact, some military personnel have subtly expressed their support for the Duterte camp through social media posts. Any move to remove the vice president from office is likely to be met with strong resistance from her loyal supporters, potentially escalating tensions further. Will the president manage to hold on to power, or will he suffer the same fate as his father? As this real-life Game of Thrones unfolds, only time can reveal its dramatic conclusion. In addition to its political challenges, the Philippines is one of the riskiest countries to live in, largely due to its geographical conditions. Just click this next.
Okay, so it's just a very subjective video uh, regarding the current situation right now, you know. So I'm gonna speak in Tagalog. Ito ang nangyayari sa Pilipinas, sa bansang Pilipinas. So, i-shoutout ko lang pala ang member natin sa channel, si Naida Sato. Shoutout sa'yo. Okay? So, yan na muna. At dino-document lang natin para alam natin ng mga history. Because they're saying that history must, I don't know, mag-repeat na naman by itself. The 1986 was the People Power 1 sa EDSA. Yun, maraming nagpuntahan doon ng mga madre, mga tao, sinalubong ang mga tangke sa mga at wala namang nangyari dahil nga puro naman walang hindi armas yung mga pumunta ron eh. So at saka ang power is talaga ay nasa tao, nasa people. So hindi ang yan ang unang-una no. Filipino people first. God first. Filipino people second. Constitution third. Yun ang ayon sa sabi ni Captain Dado sa Supremo ng FGF Pinoy Survivor Channel. Yan. So ito na muna at naalala ko tuloy nung 86 nasa Pilipinas ako noon. Nakita ko yung mga tangke sa EDSA. Ano ako noon, first year high school ata ako noon. So yun at mahalin natin ang Pilipinas at huwag nating pabayaang mapunta sa mga magnanakaw ang kaban ng bayan dahil ang kaban ng bayan ay para sa programa para sa ikakaunlad ng mga Pilipino. Yun lang po.